Hi, this is John Goodman, and what we're talking about today is how do you handle a situation when a seller wants to sell a property anonymously. The first thing to do is to clarify with the seller what they mean. Do they really want to conceal the existence of the sale in the public records completely? Do they really want to conceal that the seller sold the property? Because I don't think that's what most people mean when they say that they want to sell the property anonymously. Now, I will talk about that situation in a minute, but what I think most sellers mean when they say they want to sell the property anonymously is they want to go through some quiet kind of marketing. They do not want to advertise the property to the general market. Why might this be? Because after all, the wider sphere they expose the property to, if they expose the property to the whole market, they have more confidence that they have found the highest and best buyer. By marketing it to a small group, they don't have any confidence that they've found the highest and best buyer. But it happens. Sometimes it happens, for example, in conjunction with the sale of a business. So a property owner owns a property that's tied up, that's related to a business. The owner of the property does not want his employees to know that he's selling the property. He does not want his tenants to know that he is selling the property. So this can work, especially for properties that are esoteric, in which there's a small pool of likely buyers. And so what the seller needs is to identify how restrictively it's going to be marketed. And then an intermediary, somebody like a broker or a lawyer for the seller, can then market, communicate to that smaller group, perhaps it's a discrete list of names, that the broker is aware of a property that is for sale, having certain characteristics that are on the one hand specific enough to entice potential buyers to be interested, but not so specific so that it lets the cat out of the bag. Hopefully there'll be some positive responses, some interest from some of those buyers who are in the sphere of the quiet marketing. And then when they express interest, the intermediary, the lawyer or the real estate broker, can have the interested parties, the interested buyers, sign a non-disclosure agreement. The non-disclosure agreement says that once the non-disclosure agreement is executed by the potential buyer, then the seller will provide information about the property to the buyer so that the buyer can decide whether the buyer wants to submit an offer on the property, the amount of the offer, and the other terms of the offer. That is how a broker or a lawyer can help a seller quietly sell a property. Now, if a seller wants to truly sell a property anonymously, it's a very hard thing to pull off. One thing is that if a deed is conveyed, the existence of the transfer will be recorded in the public records. If the existing seller's name is already a matter of public records, it doesn't matter if the existing seller, who's A, conveys to B, who conveys to C, who conveys to D, and D ultimately conveys to the market buyer. Nevertheless, A's name is still in the chain of title and can be discovered. If a seller truly doesn't want the world to know that a property has changed hands, what they might do is convey that property to an entity that they control, let's say a corporation, and then sell the shares in the corporation. Convey the property to another entity, an LLC, and then share the membership interest in the LLC. Those transactions are complicated. They have title insurance ramifications. The buyer wants to get title insurance. They're definitely the kind of thing, don't try it at home. Use a lawyer to help you with that transaction. While it can be done, it's a hard thing to pull off. Thank you very much. That ends our video on the quiet marketing of property and selling it anonymously. Remember, we live in a complex world. Be careful out there.